Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a timely tarot oracle reading, and this is for the last 10 days of July, and you, Cancer, are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Cancer, we all have a little bit of that sign somewhere in our birth chart. If you do have your birth chart, which house is it in? That is where this energy is going to be most prominent for you. Also, this is a timely reading, so if you're watching it at this time, it is perfect timing. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That might give you further clarity as to your situation now. All right, we're going to begin with the underlying energy from the entire reading, and that is the Knight of Cups. So we've got the Knight in shining armor, rescuing the damsel in distress type energy. This is a cup of love being offered. Now, most of like in tarot, the cups do represent love, and quite often that is romantic, but it could be love of anyone or anything, and it could even be something you love to do or something you love to be. So that's the energy for the underlying, love coming in. And then we have opportunity. So the opportunities, this is the Seven of Cups. And it's saying that there is opportunities coming in. Having said that, they are possibilities wrapped up in challenges. And so it could be a little bit cloudy trying to figure out which ones you really want to tackle and which ones you don't. They are all opportunities that you're sucking in, like basically like a black hole, like just all this beautiful opportunity. But like a black hole, you are the center of your universe, and you're going to have to put your own spin on it to be able to make this challenge into a possibility and get the most out of it. Now, in each of these cups, there's a gift. In this one, there's beauty. And, you know, beauty is a beautiful gift. Having said that, if you rely on your external beauty, then you can really suffer in the department of your internal beauty. And we have a shrouded figure here, so we don't know what's underneath that shroud. Is it something beautiful and surprising and wonderful? Or is it scary and dark and ugly? We have a snake here, and so some people might look at that as an opportunity to shed their skin and release anything that is holding them back, whereas other people might be concerned that there's a yellow-bellied coward, you know, crawling around in the grass. And then we have the castle energy, and of course a castle is a wonderful place to call home. Having said that, most castles are built on cliffs and they're highly isolated, so they can be very isolating. And then we have the flowers, and are you going to open your petals up or are you going to stay closed? And the laurel wreath represents victory, but we also lay them on coffins. And then we have the dragon energy. So some people are afraid of scary dragons, and some people enjoy the good luck that they bring. So it depends on your perception, and that's why they're all in this smoky cloud here. A little bit confusing, and sometimes this can be saying you have so many choices that you're spoiled for choice. It's overwhelming because you don't know which one do I pick first, that type of energy. And we have the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is talking about reconciliation, possibly. If there is reconciliation, that would imply that there needs to be forgiveness of some sort. And, you know, you could forgive someone and not reconcile with them. So, you know, forgiveness is for yourself. You forgive, and then it opens your heart up to allow new energy to come in rather than hanging on to the old shift. You know, you could forgive someone and not reconcile with them, never see them again, or not even tell them that you forgive them. And then, but this could be quite often. Right now, we do have Mercury in retrograde still. It went retrograde on June 29th. and it will stay retrograde until July 23rd. And so this energy, you know, does tend to bring past situations in, especially if we have people in our lives that we never had closure with. Sometimes they'll show up again. Sometimes lovers from the past wanting another chance. This can also talk about reunions. I mean, we're in the summer months right now as I'm doing this reading, so a lot of people are going, you know, taking vacation, going back to see family and going to reunions, etc. So it can be that type of energy as well. But if this is reconciliation, it also can represent reconciliation of your childhood. So there could be some hidden illusions in your childhood that you need to work through to be able to move forward in the way that you really want to, like without the burden of that. And that's what this card can also mean. So this card is actually full of a lot of illusions. This is saying, when you first look at it, you think, oh, there's some children playing with potted plants and there's someone watching over them in the background. But when you look again, you realize, hey, that's a gnome and that's a little woman. And the little woman's an old hag from the back and she's young from the front. They're both wearing this white mitt. Neither one of them wants the flowers. But the old hag, she's experienced. She's like, go away, we don't want your stupid flowers. They're not yours to give away anyway. And the young woman is being nice. She's people-pleasing. So she's explaining how they're in their finery and they don't want to get their hands dirty and, she's being nice. And this is saying if someone comes in from your past that caused you a lot of heartache, and we do see we have some disappointment here, that are you going to let them back in? Quite often people do show us who they are the first time around. Of course, that would be up to you. But this is, especially in Mercury retrograde, saying be careful of that type of energy. And, the white flowers even in this card, white flowers in tarot represent innocence. But these flowers are actually from the nightshade family. And so if these children, well, they're not children, but if they were children, were to ingest them, or pets were to, it could make them very ill. And so you would never let pets or children near these flowers to play with like this. And you wouldn't plant them in your yard and have them potted all over the place. It would be too dangerous. And, sometimes shamans do use this. This is Datra. And Datra can be used to create visions and ceremony to empower people to heal their childhood wounds. But the shamans have been doing it for a long time and they know what they're doing, and that's with adults. So and the person in the background watching over them, it turns out it's just some stranger walking down the path. So the whole card is full of illusions, and this is saying maybe your childhood or something in your past is also you could poke a lot of holes in, And then we have this energy of the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands can represent, like, he's standing on the precipice of change, looking into the distant horizon. The water here has turned golden from the sun shining on it, and there's ships sailing by, and it's like, maybe I'll just hop on one of them babies and go on an adventure. That's about wanting to expand. This could be in business, in romance, in whatever this is in just the wands in tarot do represent the element of fire. And they're made of wood because wood fuels the fire. This is about taking passionate action in some way. This card for me sometimes does represent someone who is leaving being in a couple and going single. So we will see. This is how you see yourself right now. You might be feeling really sentimental, and you might or you might be going home for a reunion of some sort, and you have questions that you want to ask people that have come up. This is talking about your abundance. So it's saying that I feel like this is talking about leaving something behind that no longer serves you. Now that could be a relationship with your significant other. It also could be a relationship with a partner in business, or It could be friends, family. It could be the place where you live and you want to relocate, and maybe even overseas. You might be communicating with people overseas regarding something. This could be business. It could be a lot of things, but something that you're ready, you want to take passionate action. And this is coming in right here. The divine is saying, go for it. You deserve to have a passionate life. This is a gift from the divine and the universe. It's a passion for new discovery. So willing to open yourself up to new experiences and, you know, new energy coming into your life, maybe new work, new friends, all of that, new lover. Could be a lot of new or a little bit of new. Only you know. So I was going to say new. But this is also talking about your communication from your early childhood. So it could even be talking about you wanting to go back and do something that you always wanted to do when you were a child, and maybe looking into doing that. We have, or having an opportunity to do so. We have the King of Swords. The King of Swords is representing an authority figure. Now, the King of Swords would represent people that earn their living not through physical labor so much as through words and the use of words. This is someone who is using, it's the element of air, and air represents our thoughts, and this is talking about your mental intelligence and the discipline of your mind. So the swords are representing you know, discipline of your mind, your mental intelligence, your logic, and your intuition. And a lot of times this will be an authority figure. It could represent someone who like is a politician, you know, because we do have a king here. It could be someone who is a president or a prime minister, congressman, senator, minister in the federal or provincial government, someone that's higher up, someone that has some clout. And then it could also represent the judicial system, judges, you know, prosecutors, head prosecutors, the lawyers. And if this is a lawyer, this would be likely someone that's a partner in an established firm. It can also represent surgeons, dentists, veterinarians, psychiatrists, engineers that are, you know, making products. This could be researchers, you know, finding cures for disease. It could represent a best-selling author, someone that's, you know, talks on stage, someone that's good with their words and is educated and uses that as their main way of earning a living. Now, the thing that the King of Swords understands very well is that words can be used as weapons, and they can also be used to uplift. And if you give your word and don't back it up by action, then your word is pretty much useless. We have the Sun coming in. This is the happiest card in the deck. Woohoo! This is talking about God's energy. This is you as a child, happy with all the sunflowers turning towards the sun. And you're carrying this heavy banner, which is representing your destiny in life. And riding this pony, totally fearless, no saddle, no reins, no need for it. The sun is the happiest card in the deck, and it reflects its happiness and sunshine. And also, it reflects the truth on the entire reading. Now, this is in your emotional state now, and this is in creativity, romance, and children. So there's some good, happy energy coming that way. With this, it could be talking about this new cup of love coming in. It does seem there's been disappointment in love here. We have regret and remorse. This person is standing here and, you know, really sad about the loss here of these 3 cups being spilt. You know, you may have heard the saying, don't cry over spilt milk. That's because once it's spilt into the ground, it's a loss, and you have to accept it as such. There's nothing that can be done here accept the loss and move forward. Now, quite often, if in matters of romantic love, this can represent, you know, we have 2 glasses with wine and one with a third liquid that is poisonous to the couple here. and this can quite often represent a third-party energy involved with a couple, and you know, now someone's walked away from this relationship in the couple, most likely, and this is about, or it can never be the same as it was. And there's 2 cups still standing behind you, but you need to turn around and pick them up. Best thing you can do is walk down this path, cross the bridge over troubled water, and get to your castle and just, you know, chill out a little bit, get yourself back together as much as you can, and work through it as best you can. Now, you're going to have a good attitude to accomplish this, and that's saying, is the cup going to be half full or is the cup going to be half empty? We can see that the castle's half dilapidated and half standing. So it's going to be up to you what kind of attitude you have. And this is in your daily routine and habits and, you know, your health, how you're feeling about your life and, you know, both mental health and physical health and spiritual health. Now I'm going to clarify, or sorry, this is the internal forces. So, you know, it's saying that you have a lot of choices here, but it's really going to matter. Your attitude is going to make a big difference whether you can see the opportunity in these cups or if you're only going to see the challenge in the situation. And this is internal forces, so you can basically tell it's an internal force because you'll be asking questions like, what if they do this, what if they leave and they never come back, what if, you know, what if the woulda, coulda, shouldas of life. And the external forces is what we're going to work on next. Like, you do have control of your internal forces. You can't control external forces as much, for sure. You know, you can't control the economy and you can't control like what happens in the world, but you can't control whether people love you or don't love you, or they say this or they say that. But what you can control is, are you going to react to the energy or are you going to respond to it? It's always better to respond to energy. You're going to have a stronger outcome. And so let's see what the external forces are. So underneath, so the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor. So this is really good to see. This is talking about good fortune coming your way, the situation changing for the better. And you know, there's 3 wheels on the Wheel of Fortune, and one of them actually has the Hebrew letters for the name of God, Tetragrammaton, and this is a sacred geometric symbol. It symbolizes equalization of all forces from all directions, perfect divine order. And so if you're on God's path, this is going to have a happy outcome, is what it's saying. And this may be even saying that you have a lot more choices than you actually can see at this time. And we're going to, because of the sabotage. Okay, so this card is not the most pleasant card for sure. It's talking about being stabbed in the back at least 10 times, being left for unalive. Now, this could be like over a decade of energy, or even more, but at least that long. And it's talking about maybe one person 10 times, or 10 different people, or even 10 groups of people. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And at some point, you might even see this as a blessing in disguise. Now, if there was some sort of infidelity here, and it involved maybe someone from your past, like someone from your childhood, someone that you trusted, you know, that could have been the third party or your partner or whatever this is. In business, it could be a business partner that you've had for years, and you find out, they weren't as honest as I thought they were, and stealing opportunities away, and, you know, that type of energy. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. And your hand here, this is an external force. So this is an energy coming towards you. But it also can talk about, I feel like it's going in your commitment, partnerships, and relationships. And for some reason, I'm picking up this energy that it also could be talking about your partner or business partner, someone in their inner circle maybe directing this energy your way or to both of you. It could be either or. You're just going to have to take it. I mean, your partner or your, your people that are in your inner circle, that's an external force coming towards you. And it's interesting because in the Cancer energy here, if you've ever heard of crabs in the bucket, you could have crabs sitting in a bucket on the dock, and they're waiting to be eaten for supper. And one of the crabs tries to escape, but the other crabs, instead of following him out of the bucket, they grab on and pull him back in. So it's talking about, just that kind of negative energy, and a lot of bullying type of energy, this sabotage, smiling in your face and then stabbing you in the back, finding out that your friends weren't really true friends after all. The sign of Cancer is ruled by the moon. We do have a moon right now that we just had a moon. The new moon was on the 14th. So we're still a little bit in that energy. But I feel that, the full moon coming up, it's going to be on the 29th, and that's in the sign of Aquarius. And it's talking about Uranus rules over Aquarius. So a lot of this energy is coming in. Uranus moved into the sign of Gemini about almost maybe a month and a half ago now. And Uranus in Gemini, it hasn't been there since 1941 to 1949. So it's, that was World War II energy. And that was like 75 years ago. We're still finding out truths about that time. And this bottom line is that Uranus in Gemini wants the truth to come out. And so with this moon coming up in the sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, we're going to be feeling quite a bit of this energy. And Uranus is going to be in Gemini for the next 7.5 to 8 years, so until 2033. So there's a lot of truth coming out right now, and you may have noticed it's coming out in really weird ways too. And it's kind of like a heavy energy because there's things coming out that you never would have thought of, and oh man, like you just can't believe that people act in that way. And a lot of people are feeling like the rug has been pulled out from underneath them. Like it's almost like people were getting away with things for so long that now they just thought that they were never going to get caught. But now a lot of them are getting caught. And it's always good to have the truth come out, but it can be really disturbing. And especially if you find out that people in your inner circle, including possibly your spouse or your lover, are also involved in the energy, could be very upsetting. Or that there are people that are directing that energy towards your partner's way and it's having an effect on you. I'm picking up both scenarios here in this reading. And we do have the Wounded Warrior. So the Wounded Warrior is saying that there has been difficulty. People coming at you, trying to stop you from landing your wands here. The wands represents, planting seeds and then taking action to grow something and having a lot of resistance. And yet you've managed to plant these 8 wands, and, they've grown and they have that's your harvest for your fruits of your labor, for the actions you've taken. There's only 10 in the tarot, and you're on 9 now. You're leaning heavy on the 9th one. It's close to your heart, like you're determined to do it. The Wounded Warrior energy is saying that you're determined to do things the correct way. Like you want to be on your destined path. You want to, you're a good person. You want to be the best version you can be of yourself. You want to, you want it to be a win for you, a win for your family, and a win for everyone, doing things correctly. And so it's saying that this energy, there is a transition coming. It's going to be a much, like we have the Wheel of Fortune saying, so new love, new opportunities, happiness, a passion for life again, so there's lots of really good in this reading. And then we have the Empress energy. So sometimes when the Empress shows up in situations like this, it can just be talking about your energy becoming like the Empress because of everything you've been through, and it's elevated you to a new level. Or there could be an Empress that is involved in this type of energy. Now, that could be a third-party energy. And so because she's not in this part of the reading and she's an external force, I feel like there could be someone that is, in a position of authority, or knows people in a position of authority to cause problems for you and your partner, possibly. Or maybe your partner, this could be a third-party energy that they were involved with. The reason I'm saying this is because the Empress is, she is sometimes considered to be pregnant with possibility. And sometimes this card could mean a pregnancy. And if there was a third-party energy, there could be some sort of energy. We have 3 wands here. So we're just going to take that as we see it. The Empress is someone that has a lot of authority. She's a powerful manifester, and she has, the qualities of all 4 queens rolled into one. But if she's not on the upright, if she's like, not standing in that Empress energy, but is actually abusing that energy, then we're talking about her having a lot of the, it's kind of like the opportunities here, like really beautiful on the outside, but not so beautiful on the inside. What's she hiding from, or who's she hiding, what's she hiding beneath? Is she a snake in the grass? And, is she causing you to feel isolated, and on and on. So it's that, we're going to keep going here, but she could be in a position of authority that's causing these problems coming in towards you. And look at this. We have someone who, this is talking about you standing up for yourself as the wounded warrior. And you're like, this is the energy coming towards you, and you're fighting it off. So this is you fighting off this external force energy. It's like, now that you know what you know and you're moving forward in your life, it feels like you're standing up for yourself, and maybe in the past you weren't. And so the thing is about this card is, you notice here that like this is you on higher ground, and you get one boot on and one foot and one shoe on the other. And if this is from the external forces, and this is someone fighting your actions, trying to keep you from getting what you want, then this can also represent, like a boot on one foot and a shoe on the other can represent this energy of walking in someone else's shoes. So this could be someone that, is, it could represent identity theft, forgery, that type of abuse of power to get what belongs to you. And it's sitting there in your career and reputation. And I just have a feeling like that, this energy, because it's coming, this is all of the regret starts going into these external forces. And yet, here we have you moving forward in your life. So let's see what else is here. The Knight of Pentacles. So there's some communication coming in, and it's been a long time coming. And this is going to maybe clear up some of this energy here. Just like the Knight of Pentacles, he's the slowest of the knights. So this can take a really long time for this information to come in. But when it does, it's a solid offer generally. It's been well researched. It's, it has to do with real estate. Like the Pentacle energy is your health, wealth, and happiness in the 3D. And it's talking about the element of earth. So this could be like some information coming in that you might have, like an inheritance, or been in someone's will, or you had an investment that paid off and you didn't hear about it. Maybe someone's taking your mail for you. It's that type of energy, not getting it. It's taking so long for you to get this information. And it could go back all the way to when you were a child. So it could be a trust fund that you were supposed to receive, or it could be a number of any things. But the thing is that generally when this energy comes in, it's about real estate, matters of the earth, inheritances, that type of thing. And it's not just about money, it's how it could improve your lifestyle. This is a blessing coming in towards you. But I feel this is what they are trying to keep for themselves. And this has been going on a long time, at least a decade, maybe even longer. The energy here, when the Hierophant, when justice needs to come in, the Hierophant has his hand in the right form, in the form of a blessing. And it's saying that if you're on the right side of the law, when the Hierophant deals with the judgment and brings justice down through the traditional structures, through the judiciary system, that you are going to be, it'll be a blessing in disguise that you were not connected to any of these people. Now, whether that's about your partner and you, just your partner, or just you and your partners involved, that's something that it could be coming in. Remember, this is a general collective reading. Only take the parts that work for you, or that, you feel fit your situation. Now, this is talking about being in a mental prison, like conflicted. And a big part of this, when it comes out with this type of energy, this person has been sitting here or standing here for a long time. And this is talking about being trapped in their mind, like a constant energy, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Now, that could be your partner, spouse, or someone you have a commitment with, or it could be your energy, or both. But this is talking about having to make a difficult decision and not really being able to see the answer, or not wanting to see the whole situation because it's too painful to know the truth. This is talking about being duty bound or bound up by matters of your heart, and not wanting to move forward because it involves people that you care about, but like you have to make a decision here. And I feel at one point there was way more emotion. There was way more water here. Water in tarot represents emotion, and quite often like conflicted negative emotions. And I feel that you've put like these 7 thoughts behind you now, and you only have one more to go. And then this is the one that you've decided on. So this can also represent the thoughts of others behind your back and their words, right? And it also, if you notice, she has her back to the castle. And this can be saying having to turn your back on people that you love, having to leave your home, having to leave, your country, whatever that is. And she is taking a foot forward with her right foot onto dry land, but her left foot is still in this shallow puddle. So she's just working through that last bit of emotion to move forward. And I feel like for you to have these blessings coming in, you are going to have to make the decision that you have to make. And the thing is, in this reading here, I can see several cards that are talking about the judicial system and something, not quite right here. We have an energy that goes way back to your past. We have like this energy of wanting to move forward as a single person. This can represent lawyer energy, the judicial system, judges, etc. This can represent regret and remorse over something that your partner has done. And it can also represent all these people that behind your back were stabbing you and smiling in your face and backstabbing. And that it's caused a lot of problems for you to get anything done. And then this can sometimes be, now that you know what you have conviction beyond a doubt, you're going to stand up for yourself. And I feel like this energy, it can represent someone walking in your shoes and pretending to be you and causing you a lot of problems in your career and reputation, that type of energy. But there's this information coming in now, and this sometimes doesn't just represent a mental prison, but can actually represent prison, like for crime. So there could be that element here for sure. I'm going to clarify it for those that want clarification. If you're leaving the reading here, thank you for your time and energy, your likes, comments, subscribes. I really do appreciate them all. And it helps me to build my channel and continue doing these readings for you. So now I'm going to clarify with my oracle tales from the vector. And from the bottom of the deck, we'll clarify these two. And the numbers on these cards represent the paintings in the oracle. It's courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And I do have a website, talesfromthevector.com. In the gallery, there on that website, there are the paintings. This is the numbers of how they're listed. If you want to look them up, you can. I will put them in the description box below. And then you can see which ones, if you want to take a look to clarify later, if you're still wanting more information. So we do have the Aries energy coming in on this new love, this new energy coming in. And this is talking about, I feel, the energy of Neptune having moved into Aries from the Pisces energy. So Neptune controls kind of our idealism about life, how we approach life, the systems we set up to get shit done. It takes, Neptune is a really big planet, so it takes like 14 years for it to move from one sign to the next. And it pulls on like our energy on the way that we approach relationships, approach life. And when it was in Pisces for the last 14 years, Neptune was very happy there because it rules over Pisces. And this is a very kind of more dreamy, things will work out, and you have, you know, your life is like it's a more authority, and you have things, you know that your systems work, and if you do it this way, it always works. And then all of a sudden, things don't seem to be working. And a lot of people are feeling that right now because Neptune now moved into Aries just about a couple months ago now. And in Aries, this is the newborn infant. Pisces was the senior executive, the very last sign in the zodiac, moving into the very first sign. And Pisces is all about water. And, you know, the water sign, you are also a water sign and ruled by the moon. So you tend to feel those emotions pretty intensely, and especially when there is a new moon and full moon energy. And I do feel that, you know, a lot of, when Neptune moved into Aries, a lot of people they're having trouble making their old systems work. They're just not working like they used to. And they're wondering, is it something I'm doing? What's going on here? Like, have I lost my touch? What's going on? And it quite often is because of this Neptune energy. And moving into Aries from from what you did for the last 14 years, you know, setting up your systems, and if I do it this way, I know it works. Now, all of a sudden, none of that is working the way it used to. And you're in Aries, and it's like, think about a newborn baby. That's what Aries is. And Aries is a fire sign, not a water sign. So it's way more aggressive. And you think about a newborn baby, if you've ever had a newborn baby in your house, you know that it looks so helpless and, you know, and tiny. But man, it rules over the house. Everybody's running around. The baby's crying, the baby's crying. We got to, you know, how can we stop the baby from crying? We got to make the baby happy. It's that type of energy. And so that's kind of the energy that we're in now. And so basically, if you're working on projects or whatever and you're feeling that kind of frustration right now, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater yet. Tweak your systems a little bit. Try little experiments to see whether or not it's going to work, because it could be something, you know, like if you, it could actually improve your systems. But we're going to have Neptune in the sign of Aries for the next 14 years. So you're gonna, like, for the next 14 years, you can't do it the old Pisces way, or you're not gonna enjoy it that much. And there was several planets that moved into Aries, so there's a lot of new energy right now. The need to be right on this. You know, with the opportunities, you don't really need to be right. You need to put your own spin on it and put your own energy into it. But people quite often can get caught up in the need to be right. It's a karmic space. And, you know, sometimes you do need to be right, but sometimes some people want to be right all the time. And if they're right, then everybody else is wrong. It's that type of energy. And, you know, that's about making mountains out of molehills. But sometimes people make molehills out of mountains. So you need to know when you need to be right and when you just, you know, let it go. Because if you have to be right all the time, it's going to be very difficult to be happy. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune twice here now, sitting on this energy. Like, so this is talking about, I feel again, something that in the past from your childhood that's coming to light. And it could have something to do with an inheritance, land, a windfall of some sort. So we have the Wheel of Fortune on both here. We have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is coming in saying that justice is going to be called on this third-party energy kind of vibe that we have going on here. And I already explained, like, the Hierophant with the, you know, his hand in the form of a blessing could say this is a blessing in disguise. It's a blessing in disguise because you were isolated from them in that way that you weren't participating in what they were doing. You're better off being down on the ground like this and being on your destined path than to be doing what they're doing, because it's about to catch up with them now, and it's nasty energy. This isn't people who sort of kind of don't like you. This is people that don't want you to get back up. And we have the Cancer energy, so you're representing yourself in this reading. And it's talking about that moon energy, like I said, like being able, and you know, quite often you might have been told that you're too sensitive. But you need to check and make sure you're not hanging around with a bunch of assholes, you know, bottom line. Maybe they're not sensitive enough. Having said that, you can use your sensitivity to feel how your intuition rather than overthinking and getting caught in this thinking loop. So whenever that you show up for yourself in a reading like this, it's a good sign. And then we have the transition coming in on this lawyer energy. So you might be having to get someone to, you know, in the legal industry, or, you know, someone who has authority in whatever this is about, to be able to empower you to do something about it. There definitely is a transition happening on this energy. I feel like it's been going on for a long time, and this is saying it's coming to an end here. The buck stops here with God. God's saying, okay, they've had every opportunity in the world that I'm willing to give. You know, the universe is, like, there's a certain point where if you don't take action and do the right thing, then you just get stuck where you're at, and you're going to have to face the consequences. So this is talking about a transition happening here on this wounded warrior energy. You're going to come out of this and be happy. You are a child of God, and you're meant to be happy. Who do they think they are to say that you don't deserve to have happiness? And this is also, the moon and the sun are together here. This could be talking about the eclipse season. We did have an eclipse on February 17th and March 3rd. You might want to take a look back at that energy. It's been coming up in quite a few of the readings. We have another new eclipse season coming mid-August. So it makes sense. This eclipse seasons last about 6 months. So you know, take a look back what was going on around the end February 17th to the beginning of March 3rd is when we had the eclipse season. And if you've been following my readings, you know, I was suggesting back then for people to just write down 10 things that they really want to accomplish, and then just check it out like 6 months later and see how many you did. And you might be absolutely surprised at how much you really got done when you sit down to take a look at it. Like, it might be feeling like you're not making the progress that you want to be making, but when you look at it from, you know, like, and are able to check off, well, I got that done, I got that done, I got that done, you start to realize, hey, I got more done than I thought. And then we have the falling star energy, and this is saying falling and failing in love is a matter of I. So when you're in a situation like this and you don't have control over what your partner does, then, you know, you have to love yourself enough to decide, okay, I'm worthy of love. I need to forgive so that I can open my heart back up and have the love. And like this new cup is being offered by the you know, by the universe, and maybe even the possibility of having a baby with someone, you know, starting a family with someone. So just, you know, recognize the Wheel of Fortune. It's showing up here twice. So it's saying that things are going to change. The underlying energy here is scotoma. Yeah, it's having a blind spot. This is really, really common. I've been doing these readings now for about 8 months, like, you know, online every day, like I have been, quite, you know, 4 a day basically. And which is a lot of readings. I think I'm around 950 now in the last 7 months kind of energy. So I've come to the conclusion the scotoma is when you have a blind spot in your eye. So our physical eyes will actually have scotomas, which is just like the pixels don't line up. There's a little bit of a blur there. We don't usually notice it too much if it's not right on the pupil or a real serious part of the eye. But it's basically saying that, you know, there could be something that you can't see and everybody else could see, and they were probably talking about it, and maybe something that only you can see, like, and others can't. Then there could be something everybody sees and something nobody sees. And it's talking about that energy, like having a blind spot when it comes to your partner, your inner circle people. I mean, when you love people, you don't want to think the worst of them. You want to feel like you can trust the people that are closest to you. And then we have the Tower, definitely. I was wondering when that card was going to show up. This energy of trying to hold you back is going to cause a major tower for them. All of this accumulated time, all this energy that they've poured into it, everything that they've wanted for you, they're going to get it, and you're going to receive this blessing of moving forward and being in an energy of new discovery and having all these opportunities and being super happy with a new lover. You know, it's that type of energy. And so the Tower hits when people don't pay attention to their intuition. And that was the energy I was picking up here, is that, you know, God, you know, there's a certain point where, okay, time's up. Like, if you're a grown adult, if you're gonna act in this behavior and actually treat other people like this, then you're going to have to learn things the hard way. So the Tower hits, and you're basically going to have to deal with your bullshit. And that's what's happening to this force that's been coming your way. We have the world, like, yeah, the world is going to end the way the Empress knows it. She ain't going to like it too much, but like her world, the world as she knew it is about to shift into a different world. And it's not going to be the one that she was expecting, and it could even end up being that you know, this if there was identity theft and fraud and that type of energy, that someone's going to go to prison. Let's keep going here. We have the Superstar. So this is talking about having harmony in your life again once the truth comes out. And this is, you know, you standing your ground and them not wanting you to, but them wanting you to shut up. They're trying to shut you up so that they don't have to go to prison. And then we have this energy of trauma. Yeah, you know, a lot of times some people thrive on trauma and drama. And you know, personally, the trauma and drama can go, for me, like, it's like, why do you have to have trauma and drama? There's enough trauma just when you turn on the news and watch that for 5 minutes a day. And then we have worldly and otherworldly desires. Yeah, these people actually want your lifestyle. They want to be you. Like, this is like wanting to walk in your shoes instead of their own destined path. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. You can't be someone else. You can fake being someone else for a while, but eventually it's going to catch up with you. And so this is, you know, they have fallen into the karmic space of you know, wanting what it doesn't belong to them, and feeling like, okay, they're entitled to take it, and they're not, and they're going to find out the hard way that they're not entitled to take it. So yeah, this is going to be misfortune after thinking they're having fortune, bottom line. All right, I do hope you that have received benefit from the readings. The readings are a little bit heavy toward this ending of July energy. They have been for most. This one has been the lightest actually so far. At least the devil didn't show up here. So I do hope that you enjoyed it, and I will be back with another reading for you soon. Thank you for your likes, comments, and subscribes. I really do appreciate them. Bye for now, Cancer.